Okay, bitches, so we're here for episode 14 of Dragon Ball Super, and this is the final episode of the Super Saiyan God Goku vs. Beerus fight, although towards the end of the last episode, Goku had reverted back to Super Saiyan Goku. He's no longer in the Super Saiyan God form. This episode is called This is Every Last Bit of My Power. The Battle of Gods concludes. So the episode opens out and it's just straight into it. Super Saiyan Goku and Beerus are fighting, and it is very important to note that Goku has received a considerable power boost from being in the Super Saiyan God form. So even though Goku's only in his Super Saiyan 1 form, not Super Saiyan 2, but he's in Super Saiyan 1, his power is significantly higher than it was only, 10 or so episodes ago when he was battling Beerus on King Kai's planet as Super Saiyan Goku. Another thing that I find really, really interesting is Goku and Beerus are battling in space just above the planet. Now, I understand, how Goku is able to do this when he is actually a god. Like, it would make sense that maybe he doesn't need to breathe, and his biology might have changed a bit when he's in the Super Saiyan God form, so I could understand how he's battling in space. Now, he's reverted back to Super Saiyan. I'm wondering if the Super Saiyan God transformation, if it changes the Saiyan who takes it more so than just, the power increase. Because Goku is fighting in space and he's okay. And we do know that he's actually, in space because they show a certain event happens a little later in the episode. We'll get to that. So Goku and Beerus, they're fighting in space. They end up coming back down into the Earth, and they're fighting underwater, going back and forth, having a clash where, you've seen it a million times where they've got their hands locked and they're going back and forth. The fighting is pretty good. I do have to mention that this is another one of the episodes that's not animated the best. I actually had a little bit of trouble deciding what I wanted the cover picture to be for this video episode review, because the animation is not that great, and I finally decided on that picture of Goku shooting off a Kamehameha. So Goku kind of breaks free of Beerus and shoots a Kamehameha, and Beerus just catches it and completely nullifies it, which is this really cool ability that we know that Beerus has now, of where he's able to just nullify, energy blasts. He's not blocking it, he's just actually just nullifying the energy, which is a pretty cool, unique little thing that Beerus is capable of doing here. Then Goku charges up and does, his best punch towards Beerus. Well, actually, wait, before that, Beerus does this really cool thing where he kind of, clones himself. There's a whole bunch of different Beeruses, and they all shoot that little atom ball at Goku. It's pretty neat. And then from there, that's when Goku charges Beerus with a punch that Beerus catches, but the punch is so strong that it's rising both Beerus and Goku into space. Beerus, we see a quick cut of Beerus thinking that Goku is now attacking with the Super Saiyan God's power. Goku's punch carries them all the way into space, and at this point, Goku reverts back to normal, regular Saiyan Goku, and it's pretty clear that he seems to be out of power. He doesn't have any energy left. Beerus starts talking to him and kind of commends him for putting up such a good fight. And he kind of leans in and puts his hand to his mouth like he's pretending like he's whispering. And he tells Goku that for a split second, he was actually regretting, searching Goku, the Super Saiyan God, out. It's pretty interesting. At this point, Beerus flies over to Goku and says he's going to end the fight the way it began. And he flicks Goku, and this sends Goku back down to Earth. Now, as Goku is falling down, it is interesting because you see him kind of start to burn up, like he's entering the atmosphere and entering into Earth. That's how we can tell that they're actually battling in space. Of course, Goku's so powerful at this point that I guess, going through the atmosphere is not actually going to kill him. he thinks of, all of the group, Vegeta, Bulma, Gohan, Goten. He thinks of everyone as he's falling, and that kind of gives him, one last burst of power, and he's able to transform back into the Super Saiyan and fly up. And Beerus is a little shocked at this, but they decide for one final last clash here, and Goku powers up Kamehameha, and Beerus shoots out one of his atom balls. It creates this huge flash of light, and then afterwards, all that's left is like a gigantic, like Frieza death ball type attack, like a destruction sphere or something. So this begins going towards Earth, and Beerus kind of like, it's interesting, he kind of like flicks his finger, and that starts to cause it to go towards Earth. So Goku has to stop it, or else it'll destroy the planet. This is very similar. This sort of happened in Battle of the Gods. This is how the fight ended in the movie, and it looks like it's going to be similar in the show too. Goku puts all of his energy, and he kind of like moves to the center of the death ball, and then he like punches, and it explodes, saving the Earth. But this actually is, Goku is now completely out of energy, and the fight is finished for sure. And Beerus seems very impressed. Now, Goku at this point is kind of just floating in space. In normal form, he's not Super Saiyan again. And Goku calls up to Beerus, and he tells him, even though you're a god, you don't get to decide, like who lives or dies. And the camera moves over to Beerus, and he's just looking down at Goku, and the camera kind of starts like zooming in a little bit, and it's almost as though what Goku said actually might have had a little bit of an effect on Beerus, like Beerus is kind of heeding what Goku said. At this point, Goku falls back into the atmosphere, and he's falling back down to Earth, but this time he doesn't have any energy left to catch himself, so he falls all the way back down, where Vegeta actually catches Goku and, saves him. So Beerus finally comes back down to the planet and lands, and he says that Goku put up a good fight, but he has to follow through on his promise, which was if Goku won, Beerus would not destroy the planet, but Beerus was the one who won the fight. Piccolo and a couple of the others kind of like, they begin to enter almost kind of like a fighting stance, and Vegeta like tells everyone like, no, stay back, I'm in charge now. Piccolo actually says, don't let your pride get in the way, but I don't think Vegeta was saying that he was going to attack Beerus here. He just wanted to make sure that everyone else didn't preemptively attack Beerus before seeing what he was going to do. Then Goku kind of, he at this point has no energy. He's completely exhausted. He's done from the fight. But he kind of like, gets up for a second and pleads with Beerus not to destroy the planet. Beerus says he must follow through with his promise and shoots out an energy blast, but it's going straight towards the party, but then it veers up off into space and, harmlessly passes through without hurting anyone. And then the camera cuts over to Beerus, who has now fallen asleep. And Weiss said it makes sense because Beerus, when he's awake, he spends most of his time eating, sleeping, and watching anime, not training. So after the long fought battle, he is out of energy. And he tells them that when Beerus awakes, he most likely will not remember his promise to destroy the planet. And while he's kind of sleeping there, he mutters pudding, and Weiss tells him, but he will remember that pudding, so make sure you have pudding available when he wakes up. And Bulma says they'll have a swimming pool full of pudding ready. Then Weiss gets Beerus and starts to fly off. Weiss uses his fast movement, whatever his technique is. And while they're in they're traveling, while they're going back towards their world, Weiss tells Beerus it's time to get up. And it's clear that Beerus, I don't know if he fell asleep intentionally, but he was so pleased with his fight with Goku, and maybe by Goku's attitude, that he did not want to destroy the world. I think I liked it a little better in the Battle of the Gods movie, where he's like, yep, I'm gonna destroy the world now, and he blows up like one little rock, and he's like, there, I destroyed the Earth. More so than this, where he kind of, I think he does legitimately fall asleep. I don't know. Does he fake fall asleep, or is this a legitimate him falling asleep? Whatever the case, he does decide not to destroy the planet. And as him and Weiss are going towards their world, Beerus does comment how the Earth is a special place, and it has the ability to change a Saiyan, because obviously Goku is not a bloodthirsty warrior, but more someone who's always trying to push his limits and, better himself. And Weiss mentions that the Earth is even able to change Beerus as they're, heading back towards their planet. At this point, it's showing, Goku's having his customary feast after the battle, and Gohan kind of walks over to Goku, and he's apologizing, I assume, for the fact that Videl is pregnant, but, Goku does not care. And then Goku and Vegeta kind of start talking, and Goku is like, hey, remember, Vegeta, next time that we need to have the Super Saiyan God, it's going to be you. And Vegeta kind of snaps back at him like, I don't need that power. I will train myself and become the strongest and beat you. So let me say one thing. Oh my god, it would be so awesome if at some point they do like a proper fight between Goku and Vegeta later on in the show. That would be just fucking incredible. Because I was watching that Super Saiyan 2 Goku vs. Majin Vegeta fight not too long ago, and that fight is really, really good, because both Goku and Vegeta are just so good at fighting, and they're so experienced, but that fight is so short that I would like, a longer, really awesome fight to happen. Then Goku kind of teases Vegeta a little bit about how Vegeta was like, how dare you hit my Bulma, and when he got really strong, and, Vegeta is looking surprised and stuff. And then Piccolo correctly deduces that Goku must have been, on Earth way before he actually revealed himself to be there to Beerus. And everyone, kind of starts laughing. And then right before the episode ends, it shows Pilaf and the gang swimming away. They were on the cruise ship the whole time during the battle between Goku and Beerus. They were sleeping. They're rowing away, and Beerus promises that next time he will get the Dragon Balls, which is an important quick little scene that they show Pilaf doing that, because, remember, in the Resurrection of Frieza movie, it's Pilaf and the gang who help Frieza's soldiers actually collect the Dragon Balls to resurrect Frieza. And we know that the next saga coming up is the Resurrection of Frieza saga. So Pilaf and the gang are going to become important pretty soon here. The next episode, the preview for the next episode, it looks to be, kind of a cleanup episode to the, Battle of the Gods fight. Although it is important, I do have to mention, this episode, episode 14, is technically the end of the Battle of the Gods saga, the Beerus saga. The next episode begins the Resurrection of Frieza saga, although in the next episode preview, it looks like it's going to be Hercule Satan. He's going to be kind of explaining to the world what happened, because there's a shot of Hercule in space fighting a monster that looks to have some resemblance to Beerus, and it shows Hercule going Super Saiyan. So my bet is that the next episode is going to be like, remember early in the World Tournament saga, that is the saga right before Goku and the gang go fight Babidi, right before Buu is resurrected. They're at the World Tournament, and a blimp comes out that shows a video of what really happened at the Cell Games. And we see like a bunch of actors dressed up, at the Cell Games, and Hercule's all embarrassed. I assume this upcoming episode will be similar to that, where this will kind of be Hercule retelling the events of Battle of the Gods to the public, but in a way that makes him, look like the hero. And, the gang doesn't really mind that. So I'll see you guys next time for episode 15.